When a butcher gets creative. My name is CJ Butcher, and what we're going to cover today is a range of topics, but all focusing around Steve Bannon going to prison, to federal prison for a misdemeanor. The same exact misdemeanor, contempt of Congress, that Hunter Biden did. So Hunter Biden did the same crime as Steve Bannon, that Alexander Malchus did. Same one. All three of these people did contempt of Congress. Two of them are working for the satanic pedophiles. 55 seconds in. I usually try to wait to start speaking the reality of these demons. But yeah, so two of them are on team satanic pedophile. One of them's on team humanity, team life. And guess which one's going to prison? They all committed the same crime, a misdemeanor. Team life goes to prison. Welcome to America 2024. Draped in the communist trans flag. Instead of fixing our roads, we'll paint rainbows on them and then get pissed when people are mad about the rainbows because their roads aren't fixed. That's where we're at. Put an American flag on there. Better yet, fix the road. Buddha check. Roads ain't racist, you dumb. Fix the roads. Stop sending money to kill Ukrainians, to help NATO kill Ukrainians, to help the Nazis in Ukraine. The Nazis in Ukraine, which we are giving missiles and money to, help them stop killing innocent people in the Donbass. Since 2014, the Minsk Agreement. So all this over here, this is what the Nazis in Ukraine, the Azov Battalion, has been killing the shit out of for decades. Tens of thousands of dead of Eastern Ukraine Nazis killing Western Ukrainian Nazis killing Eastern Ukrainian citizens. The Eastern Ukrainian citizens twice voted to get the fuck out of Ukraine. The Donbass and Crimea all wanted to get out of Ukraine. They can't stand the Nazis of Ukraine. The Nazis are killing us, is what they said. We need to get out. And the Donbass is Russian-speaking, ethnic Russian people who throughout the last 1,000 years have been Russian. NATO came in and another color revolution. So that's where we're at. MK Ultra, we're going into that. But so this trans flag movement, which is supported by Nazis, these pro-Palestinian trans flag folk, the Nazis would kill the shit out of them. The Palestinians would kill the shit out of them. Nothing ever ends well for the foot soldiers who prop up communism. They always get lined up against the wall and shot at the end. This time maybe metaphorically, but they are walking into their own destruction. You are making the people of the world hate you. We don't give a shit about you. You're a human. Live your life. But now, since you have the backing of the universities, the government, the military, special interests, dark pedophile money, and you're going after children now we fucking hate you. Now we need you to stop your movement, not the individual. I'm never talking about the individual. I'm not talking about the Chinese people, Lao Beijing, the old 100 names. I'm talking about the CCP. I'm not talking about American citizens. I'm talking about the deep state, the unelected administrators, the Faucis, the Bill Gates, not elected people, yet they're doing mandates. Remember, mandates are not laws. You do not have to follow mandates. They are not laws. You only have to follow laws. So all these hospitals and everything that said, do this or get fired, that's complete bullshit. I know what happened. It happened to me. I was fired, and now I'm marked unrehirable. for eternity. So that's where we're at. This group are pushing, they're unelected, installed with dark pedophile money, satanic pedophile money. And we're going to have to go into that one of these days. Why do I keep saying that? I don't want to talk. It's sick. It's sick. I saw the laptop from hell. I don't want to see it again, but we're going to have to go into that one of these times. And that's Marco Polo laptop. They went through every laptop. Our story, no. Community, no. Download. Oh boy, support. I don't want support. I want. So it's an app now. Oh, I don't want that. I just thought about doing this. Marco Polo. Don't want the app. Don't want the app. So as much as I'm saying, all my podcasts so far, my talks, our conversations, we haven't went into the dark stuff yet. I mean, for normies, for standard issued villagers, for the NPCs of the world who watch, CNN and mainstream media, MSDNC, it's true. It's so true. We have not went into the dark side yet. Okay, this is it. So you could just go to Marco Polo, Substack, report on the Biden laptop. I mean, we're talking damn near 600 pages. They go through every single crime. They go through Romania, Mexico, Serbia, Libya, Kazakhstan, the Ukraine, China, all the crimes. And they're all there, all the emails, thousands of pictures, everything you've heard and rumored, and that the mainstream media says, don't believe your eyes, believe us, don't believe the facts, and more, and so much more, so much sick, depraved, satanic, pedophile shit. I don't ever want to see it again. But I'm going to download this bad boy. So yeah, you could just download it real quick. Get your dang report. Boom. So we got it. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to head over to Xi'an. So just letting you know, excuse me. We're going to have to go in the dark shit. I'm going to have to think about that because you want to report on things that these people are doing, but you don't want to propagate the things they're doing. They're so sick. So sick. Like, I can't tear them out of my mind. I wish I never saw them in my life. It's awful. And I didn't realize I was going to bring this up, but I'm just going to scroll through it a little bit. Let's get some juice. So these are just some fact things. It's probably really good. I don't recognize any of them. Oh, I recognize some of them. But they laid this out, root and stem, how the unelected installed deep state pedophile money, because child trafficking and human trafficking, but specifically child trafficking, is the biggest it's been in the history of the world ever. Right now, it's the biggest industry. Human trafficking, slave trade, biggest it's been in world history ever, by orders of magnitude. Way bigger than it's ever been in human history right now. Live organ transplant, live organ harvesting, the Falun Gong, the Uyghurs in China, they're an ethnic Muslim minority. Their live organs that get harvested are prized among Muslims because the Uyghurs don't eat pork. So they've been killed by the tens of thousands, if not millions. So we have they're kept as prisoners until their organs are needed to sell. Then they take out their organ while they're alive, because that's the freshest, and then dump their live body with the big old hole in their chest cavity. Just roll your body off into the pile. That is happening all the time right now. There's a massive market for that live human organ harvesting. I told you this shit is dark. Shit, like, hopefully you can't think of this shit. I was going to say the darkest stuff you could think of, but hopefully you can't think of what they're doing. That means you're a normal person. That's the byproduct, the hard part of looking into this stuff to expose this stuff is now you can think about it. Now you could see what they're doing and understand the process of it, the whole network, the logistics of taking out a live organ from a live human, unwilling human, a human slave, taking out their organs while they're alive, dumping their still live carcass in the pile, getting that organ on a plane to the Middle East. The airports in China, the airports in China are set up to make live organ harvesting easy. They have painted marks on the floor to show you where to take the live organ to get it out there. You could pass the line, you could do anything. They're not showing any of the pictures, but this is and that's the tip of the dark shit. Well, that's medium into the dark shit. It gets even darker than live human organ transporting. And they're targeting. Oh, here's the Falun Gong. I can't believe they have a wiki for this. Thought China would take this down. Let's see what it says. So it's the Falun Gong. That's like a moving meditation religion. It's supposed to be stomped out according to the Chinese Communist Party. Not allowed. So they'll arrest you. What was it? A cargo container with some sort of tons of hair. Imagine how much hair it takes. How many humans growing their hair, and then they shave your hair off and put that in a cargo container. Imagine how many humans, how much hair it takes to make a ton of hair, a literal ton, to make it weigh a ton or 2 tons. That's how much hair was in this shipping container to make weaves for Americans and people across the world. Just imagine the size of that hair harvesting. They're the slaves. They make you put your head in a hole, and they shave your head, send you on your way. Imagine that. And you're waiting to get your organs harvested. Just imagine. And that's communism. And that's what these trans flag folk want to install here. That's what Antifa and BLM want to install here. Why? And they're going to be the first victims. Once they're done with the patriots, the people that are standing in the way defending, the definition of a patriot is someone who defends the defenseless against the government. Patriots stand as a bulwark in defense of their fellow citizens against a tyrannical government. That's a patriot. That's the definition. So we're protecting these trans flag folk. We're protecting the Antifa BLM from the government. They are siding with the government, Zach De La Rocha. They are siding with the tyrannical communist government to attack the fellow citizens. And once we're out of the way, once they get us, like Steve Bannon going to jail today, Navarro, Peter Navarro in jail already, Trump going to serve 700 years in prison. After they get us out of the way, you useful idiots are no longer necessary and will be lined up. You're so brainwashed you don't see it. They don't love you. The corporations that are clapping for you and putting your trans flags up, they don't love you. Everyone that put the Ukrainian flag and all these politicians that are clapping for Ukraine, every clap is like 100,000 Ukrainians dead. Every time they clap, that's 100,000 Ukrainians dead. They don't love Ukraine. They love killing Ukrainian people. There's a difference. There's a big difference. Every person that clapped for Ukraine, that's a bullet fired in a head of a Ukrainian. Every clap, 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 clap. 5 people dead. 4 people, whatever. But if I say 4, you have to say 5, 1984. How many fingers am I holding up? 5? If you don't say 5, I'm going to pull your teeth out. That's a struggle session. That's also communism. That's also what these trans flag people are clapping for. When the corporations and the government, which is public-private partnership, which is fascism, when the state and the corporations come together as a leviathan, a huge beast, in creepy lockstep and start pushing the same agenda, that means you should run. That means you should run fast. So they're pushing this trans flag agenda as a leviathan, as a fascist entity, pushing this trans flag. And the trans movement and the trans people are celebrating it. They're like, finally, they understand us. No, you're marching to you're a lemming marching and walking over the cliff. Be advised, they do not love you. They are using you until you're used up. They squeezed every little bit of your morality out of you. Then they'll chuck you into the pile. Be advised. And that's like, if the left was listening to this podcast, if you know, the brainwashed useful idiots, standard issue villagers were listening to this podcast, they would already call me a bigot for standing up for the individual trans person. Like, you guys are destroying yourself. Look at your suicide rates. Look at your death rates. You are killing yourself. Big Pharma is clapping for you and supporting you, giving all the drugs, giving you every single drug you could ever imagine that you could pay for till your money's gone. Then get the fuck out of here. But as long as you keep paying Big Pharma, they'll clap for you. They will clap for you. Each clap is a dead trans person. Big Pharma loves your money. Hates you. Hates you. And these people aren't getting it. And they're going to call me bigoted and racist or whatever. Why the fuck am I racist? Are trans people a certain color? Because I am talking about their destruction that for some reason they cannot see. When you're brainwashed, you cannot see you're walking over the cliff. I'm telling you, you're walking over a cliff. I had a friend, or guess he was a friend. He seems like he's an okay guy, but one of these new trans bi floating gender whatever, like, just fucks anybody. Doesn't matter. Like, define yourself by your genitals. That's your most important characteristic. Your skin color and your genitals are what makes you a human, kind of thing. And he said I couldn't use the word fag. Like, he's like, you can't say fag until you sucked more dicks. It's like, what the fuck is that? Like, and this is their logic. They're the same people that, you know, say hard R. Like, you can't say hard R. I was like, anybody who says the N-word is a racist. Black people, white people, the word itself denotes racism. It doesn't matter what color, how much melanin you have in your skin. The word itself denotes a racist thing at this point in time. So if you use the N-word, hard R or not, you're a racist. Pure and simple. I don't want anybody in my life that uses the N-word. 0 of them. That's my rule. So I asked him, like, so if you can't say fag unless you suck dicks, which is That's his logic. I was like, well, what about the N-word? How would I be able to say the N-word? And then, the next day at work, oh, CJ was getting racist at the bar, getting all racist at the bar. Like, just asking questions. You can't ask questions to these people. Safe spaces are completely and utterly divorced from free speech places. You can't have free speech in safe spaces. And all these liberal babies, they're children. For some reason, they're not allowing their brains to develop, or somebody is not allowing their brains to develop. They're still in the black and white, yes or no, binary, digital, on or off. They can't deal with gray areas, but they say spectrum. Everything's a gray area. Everything's spectrum, but you're either with us or against us. So they're cognitive dissonance. It's juxtaposed to reality. It's completely divorced from observed reality. There's no such thing as genders in living creatures. Genders are for language. In German, der, das, die. Die, das, der is masculine, feminine, neutral. In Spanish, you have the O's and the A's at the end. That's masculine, feminine. Those are gendered words. Those words have genders, depending on the O and the A at the end. Human beings, living creatures, have sexes, not genders. So the fact that we're not saying sexes anymore means we're captured. Means we slipped to the left insanity and we're using their language now. Imagine that. Just remember, in high school, you put your name and your sex. And if you're like me, you always put CJ Butcher, sex, yes. And that's funny. Now you put gender. What the fuck? I don't have a gender. And you have to select it if you're applying a job. I'm like, I don't have gender. I'm not a word. I'm not a language. I'm a human. I have a sex. So that's how far we've slipped, that we don't even question some of these things. Like, once you start seeing how they're brainwashing you and programming you, how they're making you brainwash yourself. Because now we use gender ubiquitously. That's gender replaced sex. And it's a nonsense word in living creatures. But we say yes. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I like her as much as I know. I like what she says. There's only 2 genders. Fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Only 2 genders. There could be millions of genders, but that has nothing to do with human sexes. There's male, female in human sexes. And I know at like 0.000000009, there's oddities that happen in genetic programming. Fine. But for the 99.9999999, there's male, female. So just get that straight. You're being brainwashed, and you're being brainwashed into brainwashing yourself. So it's accelerating. Let's see if I could do this. The rate at which brainwash is increasing is accelerating. So it's turning in graphs, they call it a hockey stick. Like inflation, a little bit, boom. When they started printing all that money in 2019, the 2019 pandemic of policies was a transfer of wealth, to take it away from you, to take it away from all these trans flag folk, to take it away from this BLM, take it away from the Antifa. They won't own houses. They won't own cars. They won't go on vacations. They'll work in the gig economy. They'll rent for the rest of their lives with their 5 best friends, all of them staying in the same 3-bedroom apartment. And they'll clap for it. At least they have a trans flag, painted on their street. At least they have that. At least they're standing up for us. The Leviathan, the communist Leviathan loves us. They painted trans flags in the street. Why would they hurt us? All 5 of us, living in a small apartment, sharing the same car. If we even have a car, we have to use Uber. And brainwashed into saying that's fine. Groceries that cost $100 5 years ago, $400 right now. And everyone's like, that's fine. How about that's not fine? That's not okay. My friend sent me a little meme yesterday. It showed like the revolution is like, we did the American Revolution over 4% tax. And now we're at 24% tax and we're on our cell phones. That's just too on the nose. That's so good. And I saw another little tidbit. The slaves in Egypt, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, they only had to pay 20% tax, only 20% of their crops. So American citizens in 2024 are worse off than the slaves in Egypt 6,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, whatever. Imagine that. Imagine how complacent and brainwashed and idiotic you have to be to just take that. Very interesting. Think about it. Think about it as you're passing a gas station and you're looking down at your gas gauge to see if you can make it to work because you can't afford that gas. Just think about it. Kuwait gets free gas. They get free gas in the Middle East. They do not have to pay for gas. We have to pay for their gas. We are supporting Israel. We are supporting their colleges. We are supporting their health care. Does America support your health care? Nope. It supports Israel's health care. Israel citizens get free health care paid for by you. Isn't that cool? That money we're sending over to Ukraine, hey, guess what? It's paying for firefighters' pensions. It's paying for police's pensions, teachers getting their pensions paid by you. Is America paying for your pension? Do you have a pension? America's paying for Ukrainian citizens' pensions. Isn't that neat? Doesn't that make you happy? Fuck these people. These are evil, satanic, demonic, communist, totalitarian, fascist, all the things that require power to be shifted up, to centralize up towards one entity, one Levi, 100 families. Chinese officials had estimated as many as 20,000 organ transplants were performed in 2006. Those could be legal, not legal. I don't know. As a matter of culture and custom, however, China has an extremely low rate of voluntary organ donation. You have to differentiate between organ harvesting and voluntary organ harvesting. Those are two separate statistics in China. But this is going to be hard to get details. For sufficient quantities of immunosuppressive drugs. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is going to be probably a puff piece written by them. Let's see what they say about the Falun Gong. It's Qigong discipline. So moving meditation, you see the people doing the brush knee and the like yoga-ish, if you don't know anything about it, kind of like that. But moving meditation. Okay, they're telling you about it. Let's see, nationwide campaign to eradicate the group in July. Okay, so they did say that the Chinese Communist Party does not like the Falun Gong. They are eradicating them. Just like in America, Christians are domestic terrorists now. Soccer moms standing up for their kids against the trans flag people. The administrators in the school trying to teach children how to give blowjobs to adults, and the parents say, "Oh, hell no." Those parents that disagree with the pedophiles, they're labeled terrorists. Literally by the Department of Justice labeled a domestic terrorist for standing up against pedophiles in your high schools and middle schools. Listen up. So that's what they did in China. That's what they're doing here. Practitioners were made in March 2006 by 3 individuals. Okay, so they're admitting that individuals said it happened. Dispatch. They made 2 visits. First was unannounced. Okay. Oh, yeah. Same thing that our inspectors visited. Same thing we did for the Wuhan lab in 2020 or whatever. We sent people over to inspect the lab. They got to the lab, weren't allowed in, and the people in the lab said, "No, we're good." And the people we sent over were like, "Oh, okay, cool." All the information was wiped. The hard drives removed or destroyed. Nobody went in and checked the lab. It was all pre-planned anyways. There was never going to be any oversight because we're the ones paying for it. You are paying for people to develop bioweapons that then are mandated to be put in you, or you lose your job, or we take your children away if you don't take this experimental gene therapy. And once the gene therapy is in you, then it spreads and it hijacks your cells to make you, your own body, produce a bioweapon without your consent. A lipid nanoparticle, experimental gene therapy makes your cells, hijacks them into creating a lipid nanoparticle spike protein, gain of function with the furin cleavage site. And we went into that before, but we're going to have to go in that again. They developed a toxin that they forced on us through threat of liberty, threat of taking your kids away, taking your job away, taking your bank away, kicking you off social media, taking away your free speech. You cannot speak against this. Now you're not allowed on YouTube or Twitter anymore. If you report reality is illegal to the trans flag people. It is illegal. You are not allowed to speak reality. Free speech and safe spaces are completely divorced. There's no Venn diagram overlap between free speech and safe space. Patriots want free speech. We want the information to get out there so we can make good decisions. Trans flag, Antifa, BLM, they want safe spaces. They want their emotions. They don't need facts because everything's on a spectrum. Even if you give them facts, the words and definitions are on a spectrum, and words could mean anything. Any word could mean any specific thing. You can't even figure out if you're a man or woman. They can't even figure out their own sex. They want us to accept them, but they can't accept themselves. Everything's a paradox. Everything's juxtaposed. None of it based in reality because they're in a safe space. Cannot offend them with reality. Us over here, we're offended daily. We got thick skin, the Patriots. You could offend us all day. We like the facts. We like truth. We like reality. We don't know what truth is. You know, we don't have it. We don't have the monopoly on truth, but we have a very good skill set of figuring out bullshit. And if you keep peeling back the bullshit like an onion, layer by layer by layer, chipping it away like a big rock, you'll eventually be left with something. And that's where we're at in 2024. We chipped away for the last 10, 15, 20 years. Some people maybe more. Some people maybe less. I haven't been awake that long. 2017. So what, 7 years? Okay, cool. Been awake. Been chipping away at this thing. Been chipping away at the narrative, what this Leviathan, what these fascist pedophiles are telling me. And you get really good at it. Seeing the narrative, seeing like, okay, that's a lie. But how is it a lie? Why is it a lie? Is there any truth in it? Is there any reality? Because usually you have to make a lie effective. It has to have a little bit of reality in it, and then they just spin it off sideways. So that's what a truther is. That's the definition of a truther. Someone who wants the truth, doesn't know what it is, have to admit that first, have no clue what's really going on, but I'm very good at finding bullshit. And what the trans flag people are saying, complete bullshit. Like, that's not even, there's no truth based in it at all. It's emotional. I mean, they're humans. These trans flag people, these BLM, these Antifa, the foot soldiers, not the leaders. But the leaders are completely paid off CIA operatives, no hope, put them against the wall firing squad. The followers, they're human. They're humans. They're American citizens, a lot of them, most of them. They have equal rights under the law, equal rights, not equitable rights. You don't get my rights. You don't take my rights and add them to your rights. Equal. So that's the lie about equitable. For things to be equitable, you have to chop the taller things down to match the lowest common denominator. And when you do that, now they're still not level, so you got to chop them down more. Now somebody else is still taller, got to chop them down more. I did it with a lawn analogy. If you mow your lawn according to equity, You got to keep lowering it down till all the blades of grass are equal. Eventually you'll end up with dirt. And that's when everything, when you're mowing your lawn to make it equitable, when you end up with just dirt, you reached 100% equitably. Equity. You reached 100% equity when you mowed your grass down to dirt. When all the grass is gone and it's just dirt, that's equitable. 100%. You get it? So for diversity, we'll go DEI really quick. If you have a photograph and there's 2 white people and 2 black people in it, and you notice how everything's fluid, everything's on a spectrum. You could be a dude, a chick, a whatever, all words, except for race. Race is the only definite thing. I can't identify as a fat black woman. Won't allow me to. So race is the only immutable thing. Everything else can be changed. Isn't that weird? Think about that. So for diversity, if you have a picture with 2 white people and 2 black people, that photo is 50% diverse. Now, if you have another picture with 4 black people and 0 white people, that picture is 100% diverse. Do you get it? It's anti-white. Diversity means anti-white. Really, really easy. Not white people. Anything but white people. That's diversity. And as a white person, I say, how about you go fuck yourself? How about you take your diversity, tie it around your neck, and jump into the water? So I can't get on board with that. Like here's a knife that when you touch it, it stabs you. Oh, let me see that knife, please. No, you don't touch the knife. If a knife automatically stabs you when you touch it, don't touch that knife. Super easy. Fuck diversity. Fuck equity. Inclusion. Us, not you. To have inclusion, you have to have at least 2 groups. So you have to identify us and them. So that's the Marxism. Inclusion means Marxism. We include not you. To include somebody, you have to have groups of which to choose from. You have to have a fence to say, okay, now you're on this side of the fence. You're included. If there's no fence, you can't include anybody because there's no division. So you have to have division to have inclusion. So there has to be groups. You have to differentiate. You have to make certain different groups, and then you pick which ones are included. Cool? If we did it through the law, through the Constitution, you don't judge on skin color. There's no groups. It's everyone gets equal rights. And that's what they hate the most. BLM does not hate racism. BLM loves racism. They just want it so they're not the victim. Now that they have government, now that BLM is funded by the CIA, by the government, by the military, by the schools, being propped up and waved and cheered for. Now they're like, oh wait, racism is cool, because racism is not based on race anymore. They changed the definition. It's called entryism in communism. They have the ubiquitous definition and then the specialized definition. So until when they're rising into power, they use the ubiquitous definition. Once they get in power, they switch it to the specialized. Right now that we have DEI and SEC, social emotional something, what are all their gay little fake and gay little acronyms. So now that they're in power, they switch to the specialized definition, which means racism is now a power structure. So since it's cultural Marxism and the bourgeoisie and the proletariats are replaced with black and white, and black people are oppressed, and since a little baby let's say a little black baby's born, and that black baby is destined to be a rocket scientist because he's so smart, he or she is so smart that they're going to be a rocket scientist. Still oppressed just because of the melanin in their skin. Still oppressed. Doesn't matter how successful and amazing they are in their life. Doesn't matter anything they do in their life. Just because of the melanin in their skin, they're oppressed. How retarded is that? How stupid is that? You have to be a complete fucking retard to believe that. And there's a lot of retards in America and in the world. Believe me, it's like damn near 50% of the population is below retard. C average is the middle of the bell curve. Let me see if I can do it. So you got the bell curve, which is, it looks like, little bell. So 50, right in the middle is 50%. That's an average C average student. 50% of the people are below that. 50% of the people are less than C students. Culturally, I'm not talking about school. Fine, I did really bad in high school. Really great in college, 6 degrees. What? A lot of money I spent, but I got those pieces of paper on my wall, baby, collecting dust. But I'm talking like socially or, morally or whatever. These people are not thinking for themselves. So that's DEI. It's complete anti-white, pro-division. The melanin level of your skin and who you have sex with are your two most important things ever. Nothing what you do, you don't have any effort. You get a participation prize, a participation trophy. Because we don't need facts and figures. We don't need math. Who the fuck needs math? I got emotions, bro. I could go out and yell at people, and that's how I know I'm right. Because me and all these other blue-haired retard fatties are yelling at you. That means we're right. Because why would we yell at you if we weren't right? Circular logic. These people are stupid. But they're well-funded. The government, the CIA, we're going back to MK Ultra. They're completely brainwashed. Exquisitely refined psychological warfare. Obama allowed the mainstream media to attack American citizens with propaganda. So now the mainstream media through the CIA, they're all CIA operatives. Do you know that? If you didn't know that, look into it. They all have CIA affiliations. That's weird. And now the talking heads of the media are allowed to target you with exquisitely refined psychological warfare. They're now allowed to brainwash you legally. And they are. All that to say, I got to get going. All that fun, exciting stuff we still have to go through this. We're going through this later. I don't want to see the bad stuff. You can't get it out of your head. So I'm going to have to go through this first just in case they show some of the very bad stuff on the laptop. You don't want to see it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to know it. Where's my brown shirts? Bannon. That's what I was looking for. Bannon. He's going to prison, federal prison, for a misdemeanor for the same crime that Hunter Biden has, contempt of Congress. Hunter Biden did it. No jail. Alexander Mayorkas did it. No jail. Steve Bannon, who had presidential immunity through Trump. Steve Bannon's like, fine, I'll go. But President Trump gave me presidential immunity, so I won't go unless he tells me to. I can't go against what the president said, which is chain of command. Don't disobey a direct order from your chief, from your commander in chief, which is lawful and constitutional. And this is from the J6 committee, which we just had the Supreme Court ruling that they overcharged and unconstitutionally and illegally charged at least 300 people. So that's huge. And the J6 committee was not legally formed. It was illegitimate because Nancy Pelosi picked the two minority members. You're not allowed to pick them. And those two have then been kicked the fuck out and censored. So the J6 committee was illegitimate to begin with. And they deleted all their evidence and findings. They deleted their findings. The most dangerous, deadly insurrection in all of human history. And the people researching it and investigating it deleted all their evidence. They think you're retarded. Do not be stupid. So Steve Bannon today at 10 o'clock, he's going to broadcast live, I think outside of the prison or maybe outside of the courthouse. And I'm going to cover it. I don't know how I'm going to cover it. Maybe I'll just have him playing in the background, and I don't know if I should rebroadcast it. The same thing as the debate. I don't know how to do this. Because I don't want to like copyright law or I don't know. I have a little bit to figure that out. But worst case scenario, I'll play it and have it on mute and then actually play it on my phone as well. And I'll have a tab open so you can see them, and I'll play it on my phone as well. And I'll listen to it, and maybe it'll have closed captions on there. Don't know. I don't know yet. But this is history. This is the Bolsheviks going after the farmers, going after their political enemies. It's completely obvious. And if you don't see it, that means you're brainwashing yourself not to see it. What if this, they come after your enemies first, but then they'll come after you? That's what the trans flag people, the BLM, the Antifas, they're just happy it's not them. It will be you. That's what we're screaming. They're coming after us first because we're in their way. Once they take us out, then it's you that are going to be taken out, and there won't be anybody reporting it. So we're getting killed in the light. You're going to get killed in the dark. Just see what you see. Federal prison for a misdemeanor. Is that okay? Do you think that's okay to go to federal prison for a misdemeanor? Well, people that commit the same crime of a different political view don't even get charged. Is that okay? Question you're going to have to answer yourself. See how brainwashed you are. But yeah, I'll be back a little bit after 10. I got to go sit with the World War II veteran next door for a little bit, about an hour or so. But yeah, see what you see. How brainwashed are you? Every day, if you're not actively unbrainwashing yourself, if you're not actively unfucking your mind, then you are brainwashed. It's like plants growing. It's like mowing your lawn. If you're not actively trimming and mowing your lawn, then it's growing. It's overgrowing. It's up to you to trim it and cut it back. Same thing with your mind. It's a garden. You got to get in there and prune it and spend time with it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm trying to teach you how to think. You got to question everything. Question every single thing I said. Doubt and verify. That's scientific method. Is it repeatable? Can you see that what I said in your life? Is the experiment repeatable? But always doubt and verify. Always figure it out for yourself. Go to prime sources. Go to first sources. This Marco Polo, that's a great source. That is a great source. I don't want to scroll down any farther because there's some sick, twisted shit on here that I don't want to see again, and I'm going to have to look through it again. But I don't want to promote it. I don't want to show people it. It makes you very angry. Very, very angry. Curl your fists up, kick your front door open, march down the street and try to find these fuckers. Like, it makes you very angry. So I'm not going to propagate that. So I'm not going to scroll down any farther. Just in case it could be there. If they show everything on the laptop, it is there, and I don't want to see it. Or I don't want to share it. So I'll do a little research on that, find some good pages that we could look at. This is free. Anybody could download this. This is on Marco Polo's Substack. And if you don't know what Substack is, it's a self-publishing, like you could write articles or write your opinions, kind of like a blog, and self-publish it. It's really cool. Substack.com. And I got a couple things on there. Follow me on there. But yeah, I got to get going. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back at around 10 or so to start this shit up. We love you. Thanks for stopping by, and stop by next time. All right. See ya.